Hi, team. I just wanted to get on and make a quick little video. I've had lots of questions about what our new resource is, what all comes with it, and things like that. So I wanted to try to answer as many questions as I could in a really short little video. I'm going to try to make it super, super fast. So the first thing is if you haven't seen Dr. Wall's email, the Board of Education approved a purchase of Benchmark last night. So that is the resource that we will be implementing next year. We had two really, really good resources to choose from. So we are lucky that we were able to get a new one. So with the resource, I've had questions about what materials does it come with. Every core teacher that teaches reading or writing will be getting a full kit. So you will not have to be sharing read aloud books or sharing the manuals with your teen teacher. Everyone will get their own kits. The only thing that you might want to consider talking with your teen teacher about is students will have a magazine that looks similar to this. It's a fairly thin little magazine. Each unit has their own magazine, and students will need to take it back and forth between their reading teacher and their writing teacher, because they're going to be doing some work with reading in here, and then they'll be doing work with writing in here as well. So some of the materials that you're going to be getting is our teacher manuals. They look like this. Sorry, I don't know how to flip my screen, so everything's going to be backwards. There are 2 units per manual, and there are 10 units in Benchmark Advance. So you'll be getting 5 manuals. There's lots of information in the manuals, and I'm going to share with you how to get online, and it's going to give you an overview of what all you can find within your manuals. You are also going to get in kindergarten, pre-K, TK, K, and 1, you are going to get big books, and then what they also call lap books, which is our traditional read aloud books. So some of the big books you might see, and these are different for each grade level, but kindergarten and first grade has some decodable readers. So for kindergarten, this is the letters STN, and it has 3 different stories within this book. So there's quite a few of the pre-decodable readers. You also have some big books that look like this, Paired Reading and Poetry. It has a lot of different stories in here. So here's one, Humpty Dumpty, the nursery rhymes used for phonemic awareness. And then there's another large book at the K1 level that is the Mentor Read Aloud, and it has several different stories in it as well. This one is for units 1 and 2. The Mentor Read Aloud, there are 2 of those. So one will be for unit 1 through 4, and the second one is for unit 1 through 5, and the second one is for 6 through 10. So those are some of the components you're going to be getting within your kits. You are also going to get, for each grade level, you get a reader's theater. So as I was watching the overview, they talked about how the text complexity within each reader's theater, it has a variety of levels. So if you have a kid that's reading down here, there are lines within that reader's theater that they can read. But if you have a kid reading up here, there are lines within that reader's theater that you can assign to them that they can read as well. So I was super excited because I always loved doing reader's theater in kindergarten, but it was really hard to find a script that everybody could read. So I think this is going to be a fantastic addition to reading. Let's see. So like I said, everything will be in print, but you can also access it on the digital. You're going to get a user's code and password after this video. And so you can get on and you can start looking through all the things. The overview is going to tell you kind of how to navigate the online piece, because there is a lot to it. There's a ton to it, but it's better to have more than enough than not enough. So then in 2nd grade, same thing, you're going to get manuals. Your kids are also going to get magazines. Your magazines just look a little different, but the skills that they're asked to do in your magazines have been scaffolded from the time they're in kindergarten. So kindergarten is annotating in their in their magazines, but their form of annotation is something like they're listening to a story and they're annotating by circling the word eat. By the time you get to second grade, their annotation looks different. They're annotating within the text that they're reading. So they're actually writing to respond to something that they've read. So I love that there is a lot of what we're doing in kindergarten is directly going to affect what you're doing in first grade, what you're doing in second grade, all the way up through fifth grade. You'll notice when you look at the manual that all of the themes are aligned K5. So if you're working on characters in Unit 1, know that fourth grade is also working on characters, just with focusing on the standards that they have. So I know that there was a question about phonics, and we had said that you can go ahead and use Haggerty and Foundations. I was working with some kindergarten and looking at their pacing calendar, and as I did that, I was digging into their manuals, and I quickly realized that all of the components are very integrated. So what I'm learning in my phonics lesson, I'm actually going to be applying in my decodable that I'm reading in my magazine. And then I'm going to apply that in my writing during writer's workshop. So we talked as a kindergarten team, and I think we decided to go ahead and use the phonics and benchmark, because my fear is you were going to get to your reading lesson and say, oh, darn, I needed to teach that phonics lesson to be able to do this reading lesson. So as a grade level, that's something you guys are going to want to talk about and decide. I just didn't want it to be more work for you as we're navigating a new resource to get to a lesson and say, oh, I didn't do something that I needed to have done before I could teach this lesson. I talked to some other teachers and they said, I think I want to teach the whole entire resource, and then I will pull in the parts of foundations that maybe this resource doesn't have, and that we felt like have always been beneficial for students. So that's an option as well. Seems like there was something else I wanted to tell you. I think that is all. So I'm going to send out some information about how to get on the digital resource. There are 2 videos that kind of give you an overview, and then we will have PD from the company, hopefully before school starts. If you have any questions or you want to look at some of the resources, you are welcome to come down to the lab and we can talk about it. Have a great afternoon.